I recently asked the question, do you ever feel like you run out of song ideas? And surprisingly, 75% said yes. So I'm doing a series on songwriting tips. So if you're looking for how to write songs or maybe just want some songwriting tips, be sure to subscribe to the channel. But this video specifically is looking at 4 songwriting tips to help you so you never run out of song ideas and you never forget the ones that you start. And as you'll see, all 4 of these tips kind of work together. You'll see that when we get to songwriting tip number 4. And this video is sponsored by DistroKid. If you write songs and record them, you're going to want to release them, and DistroKid's going to get your music onto all of the major online music stores like Spotify, iTunes, and so many others. Plus, they give you 100% of the royalties, and it's extremely affordable to get started with them. More on that in a bit. I'm Zane. Welcome to Audio Tech TV, where it's my goal to help you conquer the tech so you can unleash your creative beast. Now, let's jump into the songwriting tips. All right, so my first tip is to always have an organized way to write down a song or song idea that might pop into your head. And what I mean is you could either have a piece of paper and a pencil handy on you at any time, or because we all have cell phones nowadays, you can get an app like Microsoft OneNote, which is what I use, and you can write down your ideas in there. You can keep them organized in there, and you can access OneNote on pretty much any device. So you could start on your cell phone, go onto your tablet and continue, and then when you're at home on your studio computer, you can continue on there if you really wanted to. It's a free app. It's amazing. I use it for everything. I use it for my videos, my songs, everything. So one of the cool things about Microsoft OneNote is you can also record audio into it. So say a melody idea comes into your head and nothing really else of the song, just the melody. You can hum that into OneNote or maybe sing some gibberish lyrics into it, and you can record your idea that way, and you'll always have it. So you can go back to that later and not have a problem remembering that melody that you came up with while you were on your walk or while you're at work or wherever it was that you were when you thought of that idea. And another cool thing about Microsoft OneNote is you can also put pictures in there. So maybe you were coming up with a little bit of an idea on guitar and you were using your amp or some guitar pedals. Well, you can take a picture of your amp settings or your guitar pedal settings, and you can put those in there, and you can go back and look at what those settings were, and then you know, oh yeah, this was the sound that I wanted for this song. And maybe a few songs later, you want to go back and have that same sound for a new song. You can look back, see what you had on there, and it's a very easy way to come up with the same sound over and over again. Now I'll show you what I mean by that. So here is a demo workbook that I have in Microsoft OneNote. And you can see I have some song ideas in here. I have a couple of folders. If you work with a couple of different bands or projects, you can separate them in different folders, which is nice. And I do that quite a bit. Now let's just look here. You can see I have some audio that I recorded in. So demo of idea is what I called it. Just recorded some audio in. And then we have a guitar pedal setting that I used here and vocal setting that I used or want to use. This was a previous vocal setting, so I just put that in there so I can easily bring that up again. So Microsoft OneNote is like an office application, but it's amazing for working on music. It's an incredible tool. You can take it with you anywhere. And if you don't have the internet, maybe you don't have any data on your phone, it will work locally on your phone, but then when you connect to Wi-Fi, it's going to upload to the cloud and you can access it on any other device or continue working on it locally on your phone or whatever device it is that you use to work with OneNote. There are some other apps out there, like Google has one called Keep, and it's very similar, but it doesn't have like the folders idea. It goes with a tags idea, and you can kind of organize everything through tags, which is neat. But I like this because I can just go in here and I can see what I came up with. If I had titles in here, I'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot I came up with that title. Go to another folder, and it just keeps me organized. It's a great songwriting tip, and it's one I use quite a bit. and it will have you remembering all the song ideas you come up with and continuing to add to a database of song ideas so you don't run out of any ideas for your next song. Now, tip number 2 is one that I use all the time. And what you want to do with this is listen to a song that inspires you. It could be in the same genre of music that you create or in a completely different genre. It doesn't matter. If the song inspires you, then give it a listen and try to maybe copy a technique from the song, or maybe it's the song's structure. So you don't want to copy the melody or the words or something like that, note for note or anything like that. But if there's a technique that you like in there, maybe it's a drum sound or a guitar sound, or maybe it's just the way they play the guitar, something like that, you can copy that and try to recreate it on your own. So you're listening to it, and maybe you are trying to recreate that song a little bit, or just the idea, or maybe just the structure of the song. Like it has an intro, maybe a verse that's like 10 bars or something, a chorus that's 10 bars, whatever it is. Just, listen to it and then copy it into your own way, because the way that I will filter a song is going to be different than the way, say, Guns N' Roses filters a song, because we're different musicians. They're way more talented than I am, so I'm not going to be able to recreate whatever they've created, but I can listen to their song and I can appreciate it, and then I can take little pieces out of there and say, oh, I want to kind of recreate that in my own way. And I do that a lot with like older 50s and 60s music. I'll listen to it and be like, oh man, I really like that idea. I really like that song structure. And then I'll recreate it in my own way. So again, don't steal the lyrics, don't steal the melody or anything like that, but you can take the structure of the song and maybe a few of the techniques that they used in the song, maybe try to recreate the guitar sound or the vocal effect, something like that, and that's fine. Music is all about kind of borrowing from the guy previous. So get inspired by some artists, new or old, and start making some new songs from it. So now on to tip number 3, which is similar to tip number 2. But before I get into that, I just want to talk about DistroKid. So like I said earlier, they get your music onto Spotify, iTunes, all of the major online music stores, and much more. Plus, they give you 100% of the royalties, which is great on its own. But they also give you tools to promote your music once you release it. So you have things in here like, you go to promote yourself, they have Hyperfollow. Now, this is a link with every release that you do. You use this link and it allows people to pre-save the song before it's even live on Spotify. They can pre-save it. You'll collect their email addresses so you can build an email list. Plus, it allows people to purchase it on whatever store your song is in. And you have these mini videos, and these create nice little mini videos that you can share on social media. They're great for Instagram and whatever social media sites you use. Now you can see we have promo cards, and they're similar to the mini videos, but they create these nice little cards that you can share on social media. They look great. They promote your music. Then you also have things like playlist spotlight, so you can get your music onto some playlists on Spotify, which is great. And the wheel of playlists, again, gets your music onto playlists on Spotify. So all of this is included for free with your membership, which is just under $20. But if you use the link down in the description, you save 7% off of that, which isn't bad. And you can release as much music as you want with your membership. So use that link down in the description if you want to get your music out there. Now let's look at tip number 3. And like I said, this one is similar to tip number 2. It involves you listening to some music that inspires you, but instead of looking at the structure and the techniques, this one actually looks at the song itself. So what you might want to do is listen to the song and then try to create something that's the exact opposite of that idea. And if it doesn't have any lyrics, don't worry. If the beat is a more up-tempo, happy beat, create something that's a little more down-tempo and maybe sad, but kind of follows along the same lines. Now, if it does have lyrics, create something that's the opposite. If it's a happy song about happy things, create one that's not about happy things. If it's not about happy things, create one that is about happy things. That's whatever the exact opposite of what the song you're listening to. Just create that. Or another idea could be a continuation to the song. So take the song Jack and Diane by John Mellencamp. It's about two characters, kind of follows a storyline, And that's kind of where the story ends. Now, what if you took those two characters, and you don't have to call them Jack and Diane, but in your mind, that's who you're writing about, is those two characters. And then you write a side story. Maybe it's before whatever happens wherever Jack and Diane starts. Maybe it's the story before, leading up to that. Or maybe it's a little side story that happens kind of during, but John Mellencamp doesn't mention that. Now, again, you don't have to say that they're Jack and Diane, but you know you're writing about those two, and it gives you a starting point for writing your song. So again, going along with the opposite idea, take Carly Simon's You're So Vain, that song. Now, maybe you want to write about the opposite of that. So you'd look up on Google, what's the opposite of being vain? And you'll see something like being modest, successful, something like that, and write a song about those ideas. And it could be along the same sort of song structure as You're So Vain, or it could be a little happier, up tempo. And it just gives you a starting point to write a song. It gives you an idea for the song. So listen to something that inspires you and write the exact opposite. Or listen to something that inspires you and write a continuation or a side story to whatever that song is. If it's just a beat and there's no lyrics or anything, just kind of maybe take that beat and what if it went here? Or what if it was a little more down tempo, a little more slower, or a little more faster? Just kind of do the opposite, but you can follow that same song structure and that sort of thing, and maybe use some of the same sort of techniques, but you're not copying the song note for note. You're not really copying the song at all. You're using it as an inspiration, and you're maybe making a continuation to it or an exact opposite to that song. It's a great way to come up with some new song ideas. And now songwriting tip number 4 is creating a roadmap for your song. And this is kind of like taking all of those tips that you just went through and kind of organizing them together to lead to the finished product. And I'm going to show you what I mean right now. We're going to jump back into OneNote here. So what I mean is we start like this. You should have an artist name or a band name that you write your music under. So the very first thing you want to do is write that up here. So for me, it's the band name Silver Rocket Surfers. And then under that, if you have a song title in mind, you want to put that here. If you don't, you can just put something like Demo Song 1 or something, just a placeholder for now, and then you'll come up with that idea later. But usually you kind of have an idea for a song or a fun song name, and you can put that there. Then under that, you want to put the genre. So what kind of music is it going to be? Is it going to be punk music, rock music, rap music, techno? What kind of music are you going to create? And you can see I put in here kind of old time rock mixed with punk. So you might want to put something like that in there if it's a mixture of genres. Then under that, we want to go with mood. Now, for this song, I want it to be upbeat, and you could put whatever you want in there. You can put slower or something like that. Tempo, up tempo. I want this to be a faster paced song. So you put whatever tempo in there. And if you have the exact BPM, put that in there. That really helps when you know the BPM right away. And you can come back to this and put that in there when you do find out the BPM. Now, another thing I put in here is similar style to. So similar style to Let's Go to the Hop, that old classic rock song, Let's Go to the Hop. And whatever song you took the inspiration from, you could put that in there. I put Cakewalk Project, so I know I'm going to be doing this in Cakewalk because I do work with a few DAWs. You don't have to do that if you only work with one. And now what instruments do I want to use in this song? So I want to use guitars. So I have guitar 1, which will be a Gretsch guitar. Guitar 2 is supersonic. Then I want a bass guitar, drums, and of course I want vocals in there. And that's pretty much all I want in here. And you notice with drums, I put Ugratone Kit, which is a drum plugin that I use. And sometimes I use different drum plugins, so this kind of gives me an idea right away. That's the drum sound I want. I know where to go for that, and I'm not searching for it later. I know I want this. And it just, you can see, starts this roadmap for our song. So we know we have to write parts for guitar 1, guitar 2, a bass guitar, We have to program the drums or play the drums. If you do that or you have a drummer, that is awesome. And then you have to come up with some vocal ideas. And I also do background vocals as well, but I just include that as vocals. If you have more instruments, that's great. Include them all in here. If you use synths, like some VST instrument synths, you might want to put the actual synthesizer in there that you plan on using, because usually we have an idea in the back of our mind which one we want to go for first. You don't have to stick with it, but you can try it out and see if it works for you. And then under all of this, that's where I would start my lyrics. So I put lyrics here, and then maybe I would go intro, because I want an intro to the song. Then verse. And under verse, I would just start writing my lyrics. And then maybe I have a pre-chorus, so I would put that in here. And then write your lyrics to your pre-chorus, and then chorus. And then maybe you have like an instrumental section after that that you want to put in there. And then you go back into the verse, pre-chorus, and so on. You can see where this is going. You're creating that roadmap to your song before you start recording, and once you get to the recording point, you're going to be really set because you know exactly what you want your song structure to be, and it's going to help you so much when you get to that recording phase. Now, another thing I do, once I get all my lyrics in there and stuff, I'll grab my guitar, and then I'll start to come up with the chords and the patterns that I want to use. So I might go back in here and I might start it out with, like, maybe I want to go with E, 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 B, B, something like that. And I will put the chords in, and I'll do that for each section. It doesn't have to be perfect like tab. You don't have to go above every lyric you want to go above. Oh, I do that sometimes. I do that a lot of times, but you don't have to do it. Sometimes I'll just put the notes in here. I'll just say like A, B, C, D. And maybe that's the pattern that I do. And I'll know that, okay, those are the chords I want. Now, how did I put it in there? Oh, okay, I figured that out now. But you want to try to give yourself as much of an exact roadmap as possible, because when you get to that recording phase, you are going to be set. You're going to know exactly how many bars each section's going to be, where each section's going to be, and all of the chords and everything. All you're going to have to do is just hit record, and you're going to be ready. So using a roadmap like this is going to keep you focused, and using all 4 of these tips is going to help you to continually have new song ideas ready to go whenever you're ready to record. So you're not just starting from scratch every time. You're going to have some little song ideas. Like sometimes I'll just go in, I'll just put maybe a title of a song. Maybe I just thought of some sort of title of a song. I'll put that up there, nothing else. I leave it. A day or two goes by, I go back in, and I have another little bit, maybe it's a little bit of a chorus for a song, and I'll put that into another one. I'll go to add page, put that into here, and I'll just name this a part of that chorus. And then sometimes this part of the chorus kind of lines up with that song title, and I can start to build them together, or maybe they're 2 different songs, and now I have 2 different song ideas. I have a really nice database of songs that I can go to and record at any time whenever I finally get a chance to record, which isn't too often lately, but coming up into the fall, I should have some more time, and I'm looking forward to recording more and more music. I have a lot ready to go. And following these 4 tips is going to help you to never run out of new song ideas to record. And if you want to watch my songwriting tips playlist, click the video on the screen right now, or click the one under it to see what YouTube recommends. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. For Audio Tech TV, I'm Zane. Keep creating, and we'll talk soon.